Hello. We didn't get a chance to talk today about discontinuing, so I thought I would review the process with you through a video. And if you have questions, please let me know. So let's look on your books on page 188 to begin with, and the section called Think About What Your Child Cannot Yet Do. And the focus of this section is to make sure in the second paragraph that near the end of the series, you want to make sure that you teach for flexibility so that the child has many ways to solve problems quickly. Not just sounding out, not just doing analogies, but different ways. And if you read through those bullets, those are some ideas of how you can teach flexibility. Now, if you go to page 189, the heading is Deciding When to Discontinue. And I really think the first sentence is essential. When the teacher recommends the discontinuing supplementary help, she is making a prediction based on her experience that this child will continue to make satisfactory progress. So again, a lot of what we do is making predictions, like on running records for the MSV. But the guide that I tend to use is I try to get into the classroom and make sure that an average child is, the reading recovery child is reading and writing pretty much like the average child. So I needed to make sure that I understood what an average child could do at any point in the year that a child might discontinue. So it might be worth it to get in the classroom and watch a guided reading group or some type of group where you're watching average progress. So in the section above that, the paragraph under text reading level, it talks about the second paragraph that towards the end of his lesson series, the child should be working at or above level 16. So that tells me that when he is tested, he should be reading at least a level 14. So you have the form for discontinue, recommendations for discontinuing, and on page 190 and 191, they help you to fill out that form. And the form, I hope that in the past you have talked with the classroom teacher, especially to fill out the sections on setting and survival. So the classroom teacher will help you fill these two out. And then you would fill out the running record analysis, analysis of writing, and an estimate of scores. And that just means, do you see improvements? On the bottom, there's a recommendation section, and the recommendation section is a place for you to make recommendations based on what you know about the child to continue to monitor his progress. So if he discontinued, you'd like to see him in a reading group that's reading on level 12 or 13. Or you might want to see him getting more help with high frequency words. So you as the reading recovery teacher would fill out the bottom part of the recommendations for discontinuing form. Then another teacher, as you know, would test the child, do all 6 of the assessments, trying to get to the highest text level above 90 that the child can get. At this time of year, I don't think you'd go above level 20, but we definitely want to use Old Man Moss. We definitely want to start testing maybe 2 levels below the level he's reading on. So if he's reading with you on a level 14, you might start with level 12 or even level 10. But then you would keep going until you would get the highest level above 90 degrees. And the only way you know that is by finding 2 levels below 90%. So if your child reads level 16 at 90%, level 18 at 88%, I would do the level 20 to make sure that lack of background knowledge or something didn't interfere with him reading the 18 above 90%. So the goal is 2 hard levels below 90 to know when to stop. Of course, if you did level 14 at 90% and level 16 is 50%, you could stop then. But if it's pretty close, that's the kind of the guidelines we use. So whoever does the testing would fill out the multiple, what's the form? The form is called multiple testing form. So they would administer all, here it is right here, observation summary for multiple testing. And you should have one of these on every child that you're working with. And again, they would complete this. I usually recommend that the tester do text reading, writing vocabulary, hearing sounds and words, and then you as the teacher could do letter ID, word reading, and CAP. So that's the guidelines I pretty much give. The person who does the testing would give you back this form because you had given it to them before they tested. They would give you this form with the actual assessments, and then you as the teacher would decide on the recommendations portion down here. Maybe after the testing you saw some other areas that the child needs support in to continue to make progress. So this part you would also fill out as the reading recovery teacher, and really you're updating what was put on the first form. And last, whatever you, my mind just went. You would continue to work on the child until you get the confirmation that discontinuing is appropriate. So please, your role in this is to send me the form that you fill out with the classroom teacher. Please send me that after you fill that form out. If you could send it to me with the last 5 running records, that would really help me. This form right here, if you could send that to me, just so I know we're on the same page. Send that to me and I will confirm that the child's ready to discontinue. Then you would have the child tested. The tester would complete the observation survey for multiple assessments, and that will confirm. You can send that back to me, then it will confirm or not whether the child is discontinued. Now I must say, I really, as the reading recovery teacher, you should know if the child's going to discontinue or not. This really, the decision should be made that the child is going to discontinue based on all your knowledge of the child. So there really shouldn't be a surprise. So 99% of the kids that we decide to test after the recommendations form is completed do reach those levels that show continued progress and will be discontinued. There might be a few kids that doesn't happen. They might surprise you and not be able to read a 10 or a 12, but that should be very rare. So then how do we choose kids for the next round? If you only have one child discontinued and you're looking to fill one slot, I tend to think of 3 as the number to test. So you would go back to the classroom teachers, ask who is still lowest in their class, and you would test those lowest 3, doing all 6 assessments. What I find, kids from now to the end of the year, they tend to have a lot of item knowledge and they can't put it together in text reading. But with support, they can. So we can't just do one test. We have to do all of them and look across the tests at what they know. Let's say you have 2 slots that you are going to discontinue children, and you're going to fill 2 slots. You don't, about the same time. You really don't need to test 6 kids. I think 4 maybe would be okay. 4 children would give you a good overview of the lowest children and the help that they need. And remember, testing is only good for about 2 weeks because hopefully they're learning in the classroom, they're learning in other places. So after 2 weeks, testing is really outdated. So that's kind of a synopsis of discontinuing. If you have questions, please email me. But I think just to review, as long as you send me the form recommendations for discontinuing with the last 5 running records, I have all the testing from the beginning of the year, so I'll compare it with that and look at the growth. I'll email you back and confirm that I think I agree with you or disagree, and then you could have the child tested. I'm sure you'll know the decision after you see the testing, but just send me again the observation summary for multiple assessments, and I can confirm your decision. Okay, please email me the form, and as you leave, this is what my dog's doing the whole time that I'm talking to you. Bentley, hey, he doesn't want to say hello, folks. Okay, talk to you soon.